Let's dive into a captivating tale of a traffic stop that took an unexpected turn. On a chilly day in February 2023, the streets of Richland, Mississippi witnessed a high-speed chase. Well, not exactly a chase, but a police sergeant from the Richland Police Department did spot a car zipping past him. Not only was the car moving at a speed that raised eyebrows, but its windows were also cloaked in a tint that seemed a tad too dark for comfort. The sergeant, being diligent in his duties, decided to pursue the vehicle. Soon enough, the car's driver found himself being flagged down. As the two exchanged greetings, there was a sense of mutual respect. The driver, identified as Ian Alexander, reached for his license, mentioning it was in his pocket. The sergeant nodded, asking about his day and inquiring about his insurance details.
Well, my insurance card's on my phone.
Sure, that's fine. Go ahead. Who's your insurance with?
Progressive.
Ian, being cooperative, mentioned his insurance was with Progressive and even provided the expiration date. However, the atmosphere began to shift when the sergeant pointed out the reasons for the stop. "Mr. Alexander," he began, "you seem to be in quite a hurry back there. And your window tint, it's on the darker side." Ian, taken aback, responded, "I was adhering to the speed limit, and as for the tint, I wasn't aware it was an issue." The sergeant, relying on his instincts rather than technology, claimed he had paced Ian's vehicle and deduced he was speeding. Now, for those unfamiliar with pacing, it's a method where an officer estimates a vehicle's speed by maintaining a consistent distance between their patrol car and the suspect's vehicle. But here's the catch. This method is riddled with inaccuracies. For a precise reading, the distance between the two vehicles must remain unchanged throughout the pacing duration, a feat that's challenging to achieve. In Ian's case, the odds of the sergeant's assessment being spot on were slim. Yet, the law grants officers the discretion to issue citations based on their judgment. But such judgments can be contested in court. The sergeant's demeanor shifted as he commented on Mr. Alexander's apparent nervousness. "You seem jittery," he remarked, "almost as if you're trying to hide something." Mr. Alexander, maintaining his composure, responded, "It's not every day one gets pulled over. It's naturally unsettling." The sergeant, not letting go of his suspicions, probed further. "Have you had any run-ins with the law before?" he inquired. Mr. Alexander, choosing transparency, admitted to a DUI from 2 decades ago, but emphasized that it was a thing of the past. The sergeant, sensing an opportunity, tried to connect the dots. "Any narcotics-related incidents?" he asked. Mr. Alexander firmly replied, "No." In an unexpected twist, the sergeant's line of questioning veered towards Mr. Alexander's eye color.
Do you wear glasses or contacts?
Contacts.
Okay. Are those colored contacts, or are your eyes always that kind of grayish, glassy, a little bit glassy?
Mr. Alexander clarified that his eyes were naturally green. The sergeant, seemingly grasping at straws, then asked if Mr. Alexander was under the influence of any narcotics or alcohol. The driver, growing increasingly frustrated, reiterated his innocence. The conversation circled back to the initial reason for the stop. "Did you clock my speed on radar?" Mr. Alexander inquired. The sergeant admitted to pacing him instead, emphasizing that Mr. Alexander had overtaken him while he was at the speed limit. The driver, defending himself, mentioned he might have been distracted momentarily, but was unaware of any speeding. The sergeant then shifted his focus to the car's window tint, asserting it was darker than the state's legal limit. Mr. Alexander, standing his ground, expressed his belief that the tint was within legal bounds. The conversation grew tense as the driver questioned the sergeant's motives for asking personal questions, to which the officer responded that it was merely casual conversation. However, the sergeant's intentions became clear when he suddenly expressed a desire to search Mr. Alexander's vehicle. "Mind if I take a look inside?"
Do you have anything illegal in the car today?
No, like I said, I got a concealed carry permit, but other than that, I don't have nothing illegal.
Okay, so there's nothing. Would you mind if I look?
No, you may not look.
You may not look?
Unless you have a search warrant.
Okay. I don't, but
Okay.
I'm simply asking. I mean, your
I
pupils
mean,
are...
I can open up the trunk, I can open the doors up, but I don't want you to go in and look through my car.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like I have to.
And you absolutely don't. I'm simply... See, in my line of work, what I do is I love doing this, okay? I love working in narcotics. And you're giving off a lot of precursors that could potentially lead up to narcotics. I'm not saying that you do, and I'm not saying that you don't. If you don't have anything...
No, I don't have any narcotics. I don't do...
And I didn't say that you
you're
did.
foaming at the mouth. You're asking me why I'm nervous.
The sergeant, undeterred, tried a different angle. In my line of work, I often deal with narcotics, and you're showing signs that suggest you might be involved with them. Mr. Alexander, visibly frustrated, retorted, "This is absurd. Why am I being treated this way? Just because I'm nervous doesn't mean I'm hiding something." The conversation took another twist when Mr. Alexander requested the presence of a supervisor. The sergeant, trying to maintain control of the situation, responded, "You're talking to him." Mr. Alexander, not backing down, reiterated his request. "I'd like to see a supervisor. What's the next step? Are you going to ticket me for speeding?" The sergeant, sensing the growing hostility, tried to de-escalate. "Look, I'm not here to argue. I'm just doing my job. I made a stop based on probable cause." But what was this probable cause? The sergeant seemed to be grasping at straws, using Mr. Alexander's nervousness as a basis for his suspicions. It's essential to understand the legalities here. An officer can search a vehicle if they have probable cause, if an arrest is made, or during an inventory if the car is impounded. In this situation, the sergeant was trying to establish probable cause, but his reasons seemed flimsy at best. Growing desperate, the sergeant shifted his attention to Mr. Alexander's fiancée, who had been in the car the entire time. "Ma'am, would you be willing to step out and speak with me?" he asked. She hesitantly agreed, and the two began conversing. It was clear the sergeant was trying to find any reason to escalate the situation further. However, his conversation with the fiancée didn't yield any new information. The sergeant introduced himself. "I'm Sergeant Hollyfield with the Richland Police Department." The fiancée, trying to recall, mentioned, "You seem familiar. Have we met before?" The sergeant, taken aback, responded, "I don't remember."
When you called, did I show up and help you as best that you thought I probably could? Okay, all right. Do you have any indication of me ever being rude, ugly, too assertive, aggressive?
Not to me.
Okay.
Not
All right.
to me.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, so thank you. I appreciate that. Well, look, here's the reason for the stop today, okay? I'm doing the speed limit, 45 miles per hour. He comes past me. All right, that's an indicator that he's traveling over the posted speed limit at which I was traveling. Okay, that is called probable cause for a traffic stop, okay, in which I have done. Furthermore, the window tint on the vehicle is darker than the legal limit, so there is further probable cause for a traffic stop, okay?
Emphasizing that a visual inspection was acceptable, but rummaging through their belongings was not. The sergeant, trying to regain control, said, "I'm not trying to pull up your bills or go through your glove compartment. I just want a non-invasive look." The atmosphere grew even more tense as the sergeant, seemingly at a crossroads, retreated to his patrol vehicle. He made a series of phone calls to other officers, discussing the situation and seeking advice. The sergeant's words painted a clear picture of his mindset. He believed Mr. Alexander was hiding something, but he lacked concrete evidence. "He's given off a lot of indicators," the sergeant explained over the phone. "His pupils are dilated. He's nervous, and he's been defensive since the start." The sergeant's focus on Mr. Alexander's behavior was evident. He was convinced that these behavioral indicators were a sign of guilt. However, he admitted to his colleague,
Now, I don't have any smells. The only thing I have are behavioral indicators at this point. And his fiance, I actually remember her. Well, I don't really, but she says that we have been in contact with each other, Dollar General. So she's all right with me. She's okay with me. She likes me, but he does not. And do you think? So he's refusing search. Cool. Well within his right to do so. At this point, I don't think I have enough to call a dog, but do you think Do you see anything that I don't? Just based on the information.
On the other, he recognized that he lacked the evidence to escalate the situation further. He even admitted, "I don't think I have enough right now to go any further with it." The sergeant's conversations with his colleagues revealed a deeper layer to the story. It wasn't just about a traffic stop or tinted windows. It was about intuition, gut feelings, and the fine line between suspicion and evidence. The sergeant believed in his instincts, but he also recognized the importance of following the law and respecting citizens' rights. The standoff between Mr. Alexander and the sergeant reached its climax. After a series of phone calls and deliberations, the sergeant returned to Mr. Alexander with a resolution. "Mr. Alexander," he began, "I'll be issuing you 2 citations today, one for speeding, 10 over the limit, and one for the window tint." He continued, outlining the legal process. "You have a court date set for March 29th. You can choose to pay the fines before that date, and if so, there's no need to appear in court. However, if you miss the payment and don't inform the court, a warrant will be issued for your arrest." Mr. Alexander, though frustrated by the ordeal, accepted the citations. He recognized that challenging them would be a matter for the courts, not the side of the road. After the encounter, Mr. Alexander took to his YouTube channel to share his experience. He wrote, "The sergeant was upset because I told him I had nothing illegal and because I refused a search of the inside of my car. I offered him a visual inspection to show I had nothing to hide, but he wanted more." Mr. Alexander's video shed light on the complexities of such encounters. While officers have a duty to uphold the law and ensure public safety, citizens have rights that must be respected. This delicate balance often leads to tense situations where both parties must navigate a web of legalities, rights, and instincts.